Hey everybody, it's Dr. Dionne Mahaffey. Today we're talking all things greeting cards. I am the founder of Culture Greetings. You're watching the Rickey Smiley Morning Show online.
Thank you so much for joining me today. How are you?
I'm good. How are you? Just trying to keep out of this wet Atlanta weather today.
Well, first I want to say I love anything for the culture, so I'm definitely happy to be speaking with you today, Dr. Dionne. For those who don't know, what is Culture Greetings?
So Culture Greetings is, I guess you could say, it's an amalgam of the classic touch of sending real greeting cards in the mail with modern technology. So you go to the website and you pick a card. You can write on the inside of that card with our handwriting fonts. They look just like pen to paper, looks just like your real penmanship. And then you specify your recipient. And through automation, because this is 21st century technology, through automation, that card is queued for printing, folding, inserting inside the envelope, and then we mail it directly to your recipient from you, saving your trip to the store.
I'm glad you mentioned that because I read that you had over 2,000 cards for different occasions. So I was going to say, how the heck do you have that many cards, or who designs them? What's the design process like?
Well, you know what's funny is I coded the platform. I'm an organizational psychologist, but I started my career as a software developer. So I coded the platform, but I also, because just the way my brain works, I also designed the lion's share of the cards. But I do have a collective of artists, and I would say a lot of our best sellers are from that collective of artists. They have real art, their artwork featured on the front of the cards. A couple of the artists you can see behind me, Mr. Steve Allen, his work is in the permanent collection at the National Museum of African American History and Culture in DC. And he was the first African American artist for the Olympics. I collect his work, and I just asked him, I said, Mr. Allen, I'm starting to agree. Would you feature? And he said, yeah. And then from him, Jesse Rodales, who was the first Latino artist for the Olympics, came on board. An award-winning animation artist, Quinn McGowan, who's based in Memphis. He came on board as an artist. A lot of different graphic designers. My nephew, who's a student, and an amazing artist and animator. Our limited edition holiday collection, he did that. So we have 2,000 cards, all representing the culture, all representing what we look like, what we say in all shapes, forms, and facets of Blackness.
Let's talk about that representation. Why was it important for you to get these messages out?
I mean, when you think about greeting cards, right, it's a personal message. It's me talking to you about how I feel about our sisterhood. And you just can't accomplish that with the majority of what you see on the greeting card aisle. And while others have attempted to, establish sub-brands or lines of cards that supposedly reflect our culture, they can never really be authentic. When you think about FUBU, right? That saying that we all love, and what we love about Damon John when he founded that brand of clothes. And we knew that it was for us when a lot of designers whose clothes we were wearing at that time didn't make it for us and were very vocal about, we didn't design this for that culture. So, Culture Greetings is for us, by us. We can represent the community in all of our different facets and all the intra-diversity that makes us who we are. And, and then just reaching out to other people that are Black, Indigenous, or other people of color to say, hey, come and help represent your community on that platform. So, engaging with several different Latino artists to represent the fullness and the complexities of that community. From a Black perspective, I have African American artists, from different, areas of life. And I have an African artist from Tanzania. I have, a woman who does the LGBTQI art, but she's lesbian, so she can't do the trans art or the gay male art. So I reached out to that community to say, look, I want to represent all forms of Blackness. And so help me build this platform with the imagery and the colloquial things that we say to each other, across the diasporic, community of Blackness.
That's awesome. So with all that you do and have done in the past, what inspired you to step out and do this with the greeting cards?
Well, I started my career as a software developer, so I've never not been in tech. As an organizational psychologist, I coach companies in terms of their transformations and their large tech engagements. So bringing those new things to market. And entrepreneurially, a lot of the things that I've often done as an entrepreneur have been in technology. I ran from this idea because I love greeting cards. I send so many, right? Annually. I mean, you could say, "Oh, I stumped my toe the other day," just in casual conversation, and you'll get a card from me saying, "Girl, I'm so sorry. I hope your toe feels better." Just sentimental like that. And I'm always sending cards to congratulate, to encourage, to acknowledge. So I send cards, hundreds a year, to people and clients, friends, family. And I just got tired of not seeing myself represented or looking at some of the lines for us saying, I sent my mother that card before. So I started on some platforms that are similar to mine that allow you to send out real cards in the mail. And I would design my own because still those did not solve for the messaging that I wanted to see. And then I had the idea probably 6 years before I launched. And I kept running from it, looking at the creator saying, "Stop giving me ideas because, I don't have time, And in 2018, it overwhelmed me. So I set aside 6 months of my life and I started working on the concept. And within 6 months, I had brought the platform to market.
That's amazing. You can't ignore the creator once it.
So yeah, it came to market. And one of the cool things, I talked about the mailing delivery method where you can mail a card directly to a friend or anyone on whatever the occasion or holiday. But now we have integrated with Walgreens and they have 9,000 locations across the country. So there are those occasions where I'm going to see you. I don't want to mail it, but I want a culture greetings card. So how do I get that in hand? And the quickest way for me to solve for that was to integrate with Walgreens. So now you go to the site, you pick the card, you write inside of it or not. And then you put in your zip code when you choose Walgreens as your delivery method, and you go pick it up at one of the 9,000 locations, in the country. And so they print our premium stock as well as they have a standard stock depending on the store, and you pay in the store when you go pick it up. So, that's another way to actually, just solve for people who want to get the card in hand and need it same day. Usually Walgreens has it available within an hour. So that was a technology integration that we just completed a few months ago and really proud of that.
And I hear you also were actually featured in Facebook's Buy Black Friday Black Business campaign. Can you talk a bit about that experience?
Yes, Facebook, a lot of companies this year, when you consider some of the racial unrest that occurred at the top of the year, they thought about the impact of Black businesses, not just with racial disparities, but also, with COVID and how it impacted a lot of Black businesses. So they made a commitment to amplifying, brands for 30 plus days. And I mean, it's been an amazing experience. We're in their Buy Black guide, which has given us a very broad audience. When you think about the people, the number of people, the billions of people that are on Facebook, there are people who are in other countries that have family here. And they're like, you know what? Now I don't have to worry about international postage. I can go on Culture Greetings, pick a card and mail it to my cousin in Arkansas for 55 cents, because that's how much our postage costs, as opposed to sending something across the waters. And we also have gift cards. So you can put a gift card from a major brand, whether it's coffee or Target or Amazon. So they're getting those as well. And that has given us an international audience, as well as people outside of our community, but really want to support our businesses. I have a lot of customers who don't look like us that, have been sending cards. Our production staff is like, I know this ain't no Black person, but they just sent all these, Black Lives Matter, because I have a Black Lives Matter holiday sweater, like an ugly Christmas sweater card. Mm-hmm. And they're like, honey, they've been sending these cards to everybody. So, so they're sending it, names that are not stereotypically our names. The production staff is like, well, I just sent out 50 Black Lives Matter cards, and I know it's not to people like us. Mm-hmm. So that's been really interesting.
When you said the Black Lives Matter ugly Christmas sweater, I thought you were about to say you were selling the sweaters too. I was going to say, I need to.
No, it's just a card that looks like an ugly Christmas sweater, but it says Black Lives Matter. Yeah.
Yeah. So I know they're all your babies, but if you had to pick one, let's just say right now in this moment for the season, which card is your favorite?
My favorite design, which is also on our gift bags, because this year I did gift bags, and I call it It's a Wonderful Black Life. And I don't know if you can see it. My nephew designed this. I gave him the idea of what I wanted to see. And it's a multi-generational Black family gathered at grandma's house. So you have your granddad sitting on the chair, after he's eaten. You have, grandma trying to figure out how to use her iPhone that somebody gave her that she does not know what to do with it. You have the cousins in the corner, with their Afrocentric gear on, and they're taking selfies, and you have a kid on their computer, and you have the Christmas tree as well as the Kwanzaa there, and then two iconic Black figures, Martin Luther King and Obama, on the wall of the house. So it's just grandma's house at the holidays. And since we don't get to do that this year as much because of COVID, I wanted to design something that had a home feeling. And so this is on the card, it's on the gift bags, it's on gift wrap, and that it's just had, a lot of really good feedback. A lot of people are really, and I was going to do it just this year, but I think it will become a permanent part of the line. So that's the card that I sent out this year with that imagery on the front.
Thank you. Well, for you guys watching, make sure you follow Culture Greetings on social media and visit culturegreetings.com. Dr. Dionne, is there anything else you want people to know before we log off?
No, hey, we do this for the culture. And so if there's anything that you see that you'd like to see different, feel free to reach out and say, hey, I think this is a great idea for a design. Or if you're an artist, join our collective of artists because they're compensated, commissioned for their work that's sold on our cards. So I just want to wish everyone a happy holiday and, hey, Black people, love on other Black people, love on each other. We need each other. We're all we've got. And, let's just keep empowering one another, supporting our businesses, and amplifying all the greatness that is Blackness.